Hello, I'm Matthew Walz and I run Wide Vision Metal Fab. And for the last several weeks I've been putting this VEVOR 5x5 inch cutting capacity portable bandsaw that comes with a stand through its paces to really see what it's capable of. Overall, this saw has definitely been a very solid performer. And I'm going to talk about all the things I do like about this saw. But first off, I'm going to talk about something that I actually don't like about this saw. And that is this attachment to this stand. In the manual, they say to remove these 3 screws to pull the saw off the stand so you can go out and do stuff with it. You know, not have to put things in the stand in order to use the saw. Actually use it as a portable bandsaw, right? But these screws just go into this cast housing, and those threads are not going to last. Matter of fact, I already had one thread start to fail on me. But now I have an issue. This screw, the threads all came out of this hole. So it will not go back in. It's, you know, messed up, to say the least. So I figured out that it's actually much easier to remove this nut down here and just pull this arm off of the base. Okay, so let's take it all apart here again. See if it would be worth doing it this way every time. Go. But I think for me, taking it off of here this way and leaving this arm on the saw, I really don't see that being in the way. I mean, like when you're cutting stuff, it's clear up there. It's never in your way because the metal is always going to hit the backstop here. Yeah, I don't feel like I would ever be in the way. I feel like that's the way to do it. I'd even go so far as to add that, you know, these thrust washers are easily replaceable if something goes wrong with them, versus if you mess up the threads in this housing, what are you going to do to fix it? Drill bigger holes and rethread them until those break. You know, what's your options here? How many times can you repair these 3 holes versus how many times can you repair this bolt and these thrust washers? In my mind, this bolt and thrust washers are infinitely repairable. So take it off down here, leave this arm on the saw. That's my advice. Do with that advice as you want. Well, now that I've talked about that for far too long, let's get on to all the good points and capabilities of this saw. Now the first feature I want to talk about is that this handle is adjustable, and it's got detents. It's not infinitely adjustable, so it'll pop into place up there, actually pop into place there, and there. Yeah, so you've got a few different positions you can put that handle in if you want to. I'm going to start off with it there. I do have to say, after using this thing for a while, I really like this spade handle up here. This is really nice. It is adjustable different angles, as I showed earlier, but it really gives you something to hold on to and actually be able to lug this thing around. That handle is a well appreciated feature, and this thing's very comfortable to use either left-handed or right-handed, depending on how you want to look at it. Left-handed, right-handed, which way is which, doesn't matter. It's very ambidextrous is what I'm saying. But before we get too far into cutting things, I'd like to point out that I'm happy to see that VEVOR sends out 2 of these 1014 variable pitch bimetal M42 blades with the saw. I've used a lot of different blades in my other saw for a lot of years, and it is a really good all-around blade. And just to put your mind at rest, these are standard size blades that are available at other places. And since this saw was brand new, I thought I'd start with something small. So I decided to cut some 1-inch angle iron. See how this vise tightens up? Well, that tightened up pretty nice. Feels rigid. I don't know if it's squared. I just went off the mark over there, so I don't know. I didn't actually get out my square. Make sure it's square. Oh, that might actually just be a little tight. It's kind of hard to move up and down. I'm going to loosen that just a little bit. It's actually just a little difficult to move up and down. There we go. There we go. I think that will be a lot better. Yeah, there we go. Alright, I'm going to move this to 45 degrees. There again, I'm just going off what the miter says. Not what it actually is. I have no idea how accurate that is, but it's probably not. So you probably need to get out your actual measuring devices and make sure that it's actually cutting at 45 or 90, you know. But we're just demonstrating, right? Heck, that was a couple real easy cuts. All right, let's go find some thicker stuff. So I went for this huge 5x3 inch rectangular tubing. This stuff has 3/8 thick walls, and I decided to cut it a difficult direction. Yes, it would have been much easier and faster to cut this piece of rectangular tubing if I had gone through it a different direction, but I really wanted to push the saw, so I did it the difficult way here, and the saw did it no problem. One of the things in this area it's really common to cut is this 2 7/8 oil field tubing. A lot of people use it to build corrals around here. So let's see how fast we can motor through this stuff. "56 seconds. That's not bad at all. And the nice thing about this versus a regular abrasive chop saw is we're not throwing sparks all over the prairie, catching the prairie grass on fire. I also use this saw to make some saddle cuts and oil filled tubing. It's really handy for that too. Turn that exactly 180 degrees. Make sure that we're staying at the same distance from our end of the vise jaw there. And then, if I did it right, this should just flop right in there. Boom! Perfect saddle cut. I don't want to draw out this video any longer. I could keep showing you tests that I've done, but at this point, I don't feel like you would gain any more insight. I do have to say that over the last several weeks of testing this thing, it has become very obvious that this saw performs very well both on and off of the stand. I even took the saw on site and powered it from my power station, which I have to say makes a very portable setup. If you're interested in buying one of these saws, I'll have a discount code and a link in the description down below. I highly recommend a portable bandsaw for anyone doing metal fabrication, whether you're a hobbyist or a professional like me. I really don't have anything else to add other than to say thanks for watching, everybody, and you'll be seeing a heck of a lot more of this saw in the future.